Messages with jokes, but I heard a joke one time that kind of reveals how people's human nature is. This fellow was lost on a deserted island for many years, and they finally came to rescue him. And he had three little huts built in close proximity to one another. And the fellow that came to get him said, "What's these huts here?" He said, "That's where my house is. I live there." I said, "Well, what's the other two?" He said, "Well, I'm very religious. I love the Lord. That's why I go to church." He said, "Okay." He said, "What's that other building there?" He said, "That's where I used to go to church." Sometimes the problem is you. Open your Bibles to Psalms chapter 23. Amen. I like to study passages sometimes that, and I don't think anybody means any disrespect to the Bible, but there are a lot of passages that we kind of hand over to children to memorize, and we kind of leave that to the kids, and we don't pay a whole lot of attention to them. And Psalms 23 is one of those passages. Probably or either they get quoted a lot at funerals. I guess a lot at funerals. But I've been looking at this passage I've actually preached part of this message before, and Brother Rowan said that he wanted me to kind of take a couple of weeks and do a study, and we're certainly going to try to do that. You pray for me that I'll be able to do that. But I enjoy Psalms 23. Obviously, I want to thank Brother Owen for lending me his pulpit tonight, and I want to thank my family for being here, and all of you, and so many of you that have prayed for me. I'm so unworthy of the love and compassion that has been shown to me and my family, but I'm so thankful for it. And we just appreciate it so much, and it's just a privilege to be with you tonight. I was laying, my daughter, my 2-year-old, she pretty much don't leave my side. I stay in the bed a lot, which I've got a really nice bed, so it's not like I'm roughing it. But I stay in the bed a lot, and she was laying next to me the other day, and I was kind of talking to the Lord out loud, asking the Lord to kind of let me stick around. And I didn't think she was paying a whole lot of attention. She said, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm talking to the Lord." Well, later on, I told her, I said, "You get in there and help your brother clean your room up." And she said, "Daddy, I can't. I'm talking to the Lord." And she had a book, and she had a little book, and she was looking at that little book, and she was saying, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And she don't know those words on in that book, but she's just saying what she's heard us say, and what we teach her. And so it's good to know that the Lord's in control. Amen. The Lord is always in control. Yes, He is. And I heard a fellow say one time, he said, "The Lord don't have to be fair, He's right." Well, that upset me. He's both. See, to say He don't have to be fair, He's right, makes Him sound like kind of a bully. See, everything that God does is right. He doesn't do anything arbitrarily. He doesn't do anything out of spite. Listen, everything God does is right. Everything. Nobody ever says, "Why me?" when they win the lottery. Well, Lord, why me? See, the question is not when you find out you have cancer. The question is not why me. The question is why not me? Why not me? Now, I'm not trying to be super spiritual. Listen, and those of you that know me, listen, I say stuff I shouldn't say, and I get angry, and I've hurt people. So I'm not some spiritual giant. But I'm going to tell you what, you better get fixed in your mind that everything God does is right. And if everything that He does is right, then He's never done anything wrong. If He's right all the time, then there's not any room left for Him to be wrong. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. Now, we're not talking about His primacy as far as creator. And see, God is God whether you allow Him to be God or not. He's the God. See, you get famous, well-known atheists, people like Bill Maher, and back in the 70s, Madeline Murray O'Hare. See, He's God whether you allow Him to be God or not. He's never ceased to be God. He will never cease to be God. But as far as a shepherd, you have to allow Him to be your shepherd. That means that you have to be one of His sheep. Of course, we think of John 10, with Jesus describing Himself as a shepherd. But if you're not one of His sheep, listen to me now. If you're not one of His sheep, He's not your shepherd. If you're not one of His sheep, you're in trouble. If you're not one of His sheep, listen, there's no hope for you until you trust Christ as your Savior and become one of His sheep. But God presents Himself different ways in Scripture, and in this particular Scripture here, He's presented as our shepherd. And again, it goes right along with John chapter 10, as we said. The Lord is my shepherd. See this first sentence here implies a couple of things. It implies ownership. He's my shepherd. He's not just a shepherd. He's not just the shepherd. He's not just your shepherd. See, I believe that the Lord is Brother Owen's shepherd. I believe Brother Owen's saved. I believe Brother Owen's is in God's sheepfold, shall we say, to use biblical terminology. And it's wonderful that the Lord is Brother Owen's shepherd. But it's even more wonderful that He's my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. That implies ownership. It also implies submissiveness. See, He's God no matter who rejects Him, no matter who says He doesn't exist, He still exists and He's still God. It doesn't diminish Him at all. But you have to submit to Him in order for Him to be your shepherd. See, because when the sheep wanders off, according to New Testament typology, when the sheep wanders off, see, the shepherd's got to go and get him. And he goes and gets him in love, and he breaks that leg, and he teaches that sheep that lesson until that sheep doesn't wander off anymore, Brother Joe. The Lord is my shepherd. But here's the key. Here's the key. If He's the shepherd and you're the sheep, you have to be satisfied with where He leads you. What if He leads you some places you don't want to go? Lord, I'd just as soon not go there. If you wouldn't mind, I'd just as soon not go there. And see, if the Lord is your shepherd, don't you think that the shepherd would lead you to the church when it's church time? Don't you just suppose that that's what He would do? Do you suppose that the shepherd would lead you to the bar? You suppose He would lead you there? Do you suppose the shepherd would lead you to gossip about another church member? I mean, if He's leading you and you going wherever He leads you, you suppose He would do that? I don't think that He would. The Lord is my shepherd. You got to be satisfied with wherever He leads you. Now here's another one. Now, I shall not want. Now when I would read this as a kid, I'd say, He doesn't want the Lord to be His shepherd? Is that what He's saying? That's not what He's saying. It's saying that I won't have need of anything. Why? Because the shepherd's got it under control. See, Paul said, whatsoever state I am, I've learned to be content. I've learned to be abased. I've learned to be bound, etc., etc. Flip over real quick to, I believe it's Philippians 4:19. Let's see here. I think that's what I want. See, I don't lack anything, and I don't need anything, and there's nothing that I really want, because He's the shepherd. He's leading me where I need to go, and He's got it under control. Brother Kennedy, if you would just stand up and be as loud as you can and read Philippians 4:19.
Philippians 4:19, but my God shall supply all your need according to His riches and glory by Christ Jesus.
See, I don't want anything. I don't need anything. Why? Because I have confidence that the shepherd is going to supply me with everything that I need. That's a hard place to get to. Because there are some things that I want. There are some, and there are some things that I think I need. That I think I need. I think I need them. The Lord is my shepherd. And you know the shepherd, according to Jeremiah 29:11, says God says He has thoughts of good toward me. Thoughts of good toward me and not evil, to bring me to an expected end. The Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. And look at what He does for me. Now, you can look at this, you can kind of make an application, as this is the walk of life. And as you walk through life, you're going to have good times and bad times. It says, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. And you can go to the book of Ezekiel 34 and read more about that. About Him taking the children of Israel. See, He won't lead you. See, the good shepherd, He won't lead you to some dirty, old, nasty, dried up, dead grass. See, He knows where all the good eating spots are. Back when I was in college, me and Sam Mayhew, we did a lot of eating out. I mean, we did a lot of eating out. My wife thinks we go out to eat a lot now, not like we did back then. We knew where all the good spots were. Do you know how wonderful it is? You just get up and drive 45 minutes to the other side of Pensacola just because you're going to eat at a particular restaurant? I wouldn't dream of doing that now. You want me to take my family 45 minutes just to eat at a restaurant? So you know what you do if you don't want to do that, Brother Donnell? You have to invent reasons to go to Pensacola. Because you can't just go there to eat. That would be frivolous. So you have to invent things that you have to have that's in the vicinity. But see, the Lord knows where all the good eating spots are. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. Now they say that sheep, they're real skittish. And you can't take them to where there are rapids, Caleb. They can't be around rapids. And somebody said that because of the way their nose, if you look at the way their nose is shaped, and I don't like talking about noses, I got a huge nose. So I don't like talking about noses. But if you look at the way their nose is shaped, and if you look at, not to disrespect sheep, but how dumb they are, if you don't take them to someplace placid, that they might actually drown. They might actually fall over into the water and they can't get back up and all that stuff. So we see where we have our needs met. Green pasture. We see safety. You know, it doesn't seem real safe when somebody tells you that you might die. It doesn't seem real safe. Unless you know where you're going. See, I told my wife, and now my wife's a unique individual. Now y'all wouldn't, because I got all kinds of bluster and I'm real loud. But my wife's as tough as a $2 steak. I mean, she's a lot tougher than I am. And we got this diagnosis, and we laid in the bed and cried, and we prayed, we hugged each other, and we spent some time together in the Lord. And I was crying one time, and she didn't think I shouldn't have been. I guess she don't think I shouldn't have been crying. I guess she said, "Your pity party's over." I said, I have cancer. She said, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. She said, if you don't get out of that bed, I'm going to call your mama. I said, don't you call my mom. I said, my mama has enough to worry about. Don't you call my mama. And she got me a little fired up. Why did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all that for? Where am I at? Well, hold on. Let me see where I'm at. Hold on. I have no idea where this fits. Let's see. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. Oh, safety. Safety. See, the shepherd knows how. The shepherd knows how to keep the sheep safe. And you know what he does is an extra blessing? What he does is, he gives you Renita Johnson on one end, and he gives you David Rowan on the other. You know, Brother David, he'll just let me complain and cry. Brother, I love you so much. Listen, I just can't imagine. Listen, I love you, whatever you need. See, you need both kinds. See, part of what the shepherd does in order to keep us safe is he surrounds us with people that we need. See, the Lord, listen, the Lord knows what we need. The Lord knows what we need. Now, I do not believe that it is God's will. I don't believe it's my shepherd's will for me to be spoken of in the past tense in a few months. I don't believe it is. I believe the Lord's going to do some things, and He's going to do what brings Him the most glory. Amen. He's going to do what brings Him the most glory. But whatever He decides to do, He can keep me in perfect peace and safety the entire time. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down. Listen, this isn't just a bare minimum. This isn't just getting by. This is green pastures. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. Listen, I've seen some people going through some things that I care about, and they don't even know they got a problem. They can't even conceive that they have, it bothers me down in my soul when I see people on a self-destructive path that I love and care about, and they don't even care to hear what I got to say. But I wonder how many times I've done that to somebody. To when it just makes you barren in your soul. And listen, you need restoration. I don't mean restoration in your body. I mean restoration in your soul. That's why I get upset when people belittle depression. You better be careful. Well, I'm too blessed to be depressed. I don't get depressed. I suppose you've never read the book of Psalms. You better be careful when we start belittling people that's going through trials and tribulations that we can't even fathom what they're going through. He restoreth my soul. Go flip over just a few pages to Psalm 19. Psalm 19. The law of the Lord is perfect. Verse 7. Psalm 19 verse 7, the law of the Lord is perfect. You know what that means? That means you can't take one part of God's law and elevate it over another part of God's law. Well, I'm going to leave my wife so I can be a better servant in Uganda. Yeah. No, that's not the way that works. Right. You can't take one part of God's law and elevate it. The law of the Lord is perfect. It's equal, it's even. In its equality, in its majesty. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. Let's keep reading. The testimony of the Lord is pure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right. Rejoice, look at this. Rejoicing the heart. There's going to be times when your soul is going to need to be restored. Listen, I've been in a wheelchair 43 years. And I have never faced anything like I'm facing right now that takes away my joy, that robs my joy. Now, I shouldn't allow my joy to be robbed. But I mean, it's like some kind of vampires latched on to me. You know what I started doing? I would go to sleep quoting Bible verses. I would go to sleep listening to the book of John. Amen. And then I'd get excited about seeing, I don't know when I'm going to see, listen, I'm not saying that I'm going to be gone next week. I don't know when I'm going to see Jesus, but I know this, I'm going to see him. Amen. I'm going to see him. And I started going through the book of John and listening to the book of John. I started thinking about some heroes in the faith, like Moses and Brother Joe. Brother Joe Solers. Listen, Brother Joe Solers, he's been around a long time. And Brother Joe Solers, he's fought some battles. And he's wept some tears and he's prayed some prayers. And listen, when I think of somebody who's just faithful, I think of Brother Joe Solers. And when a man like Joe Solers tells me that I wake up in the night praying for you, that does something to me. See, I believe when Joe Solers prays, things happen. That's what I believe. But there's going to be times when you're going to need your soul restored. If it hasn't happened yet, it will. And do you know what would be? Do you know what would be? Listen, I'm not trying to. I'm just talking to y'all tonight. How I feel. I try to thank the Lord every day. Lord, thank you that it's me and not one of my kids, or not my wife, or one of my siblings. I can't imagine going into a doctor's office and having one of them doctors tell me that my baby's got what I got. Right. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I'm content. I'm okay with whatever he gives me. Now, I'm not there yet. I'm not saying I'm there. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. But notice the next verse. Or the next couple of verses. All right, let me get to it. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness. See, if he's a righteous God, then wherever he leads you have to be righteous. So if you're someplace unrighteous, he didn't lead you there. You went there on your own. If you're someplace unrighteous, let me say something. If you're in a state of mind, if you are promoting a state of mind that causes strife and arrogance and narcissism and hatefulness, he didn't lead you there. He did not lead you there. Why? Because he leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Listen, if he led me someplace unrighteous, it would damage his name, and he's never going to do that. He's never going to damage his name. But look at this next part. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That's a lot different from green pastures and still waters, isn't it? Yes, sir. Trouble's coming. Trouble's coming. Oh, Brother Paul, you're just a pessimist. No, hey, look at me. Trouble's coming. A man's days are full of trouble as the sparks fly upward. And I'm paraphrasing that verse. Yes, sir. Trouble's coming. See, it's not that you can escape trouble till the rapture. It's not that you can escape trouble. It's that you can know where the shepherd is when you're in trouble. You can't escape trouble. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Brother Rowan quoted me this, sent me this verse in a text. Every time we go to the doctor, we get bad news. Every time. And we were talking the other day, and Renee said, let's just not go. Let's just not go. I said, well, I'm not sure that'd be the way to handle it. I'm not sure, you know. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they come to me. Listen, I'm going to go see that doctor tomorrow. He's going to be real nice. He's got a great bedside manner. And I'm likely to tell him, well, thank you for your time, but I'm not going to do anything you're telling me to do. I appreciate it. That's likely to be my response. And don't think we're doing nothing, because we're doing a lot of different things. And I hope that you'll respect our wishes. But that doctor can't tell me when I'm going to die. Listen, I might outlive some of y'all in here. Here's what I'm saying to you. The only thing we're promised is right now. Now, because we know that philosophically we could die at any time. We know that. But see, philosophically, death is way out here. It's way out here somewhere. When somebody gives you a timeline, then it's right up here in your face. But the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. In the midst of all this, you know what's happened to me? In the midst of all this, I've had my soul restored. You can't beat it. You can't beat having your soul restored. Because there's people out there who need their souls restored, and they don't have a problem. Everybody else does. They need their soul restored. They need what I've gotten hold of. Now, I might have to have it restored again next week. That's the way it goes sometimes. Ups and downs, peaks and valleys. But I know where to go. I know where to go. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. As we get ready to close, we're going. This is just kind of a jumping off point. We're going to get more into this either next Sunday or Wednesday, whenever Brother Owen wants me to. But this part about He restoreth my soul, He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness. See, wherever He leads me has to be righteous. It's got to be right. It's got to be holy. It's got to be true. Because His name is at stake. And His name will never, ever, ever, ever be impugned. Ever. I don't know what this has done for y'all tonight, but this has really helped me. I'm teaching my boys this chapter, and we talk about this chapter a lot. And I was going over and over what to preach. And I said, well, I didn't even know that I could preach, to be honest with you. I didn't even know that but my wife conspired with my pastor and called my pastor up and said, well, he needs something to do. And Brother Owen said, well, I can take care of it. Listen, pray that I'll get a little more oomph and a little more, I'm kind of sapped right now, and I love my wife, and she's sitting right there, and so I can say this in front of everybody. She's driving me crazy. She's just driving me slap crazy. But listen. I believe, by the way, I have no illusions about this now. I would rather not die from this. I would rather not. I've got 3 small children, and I'd rather not die. But number one, I'm glad it happened, because I already know what it's done for me. I said, Lord, if you'll let me keep going, and you know, you got to be careful when you promise the Lord stuff, because He knows everything. I said, Lord, I've been kind of a loudmouth, arrogant, know-it-all buffoon sometimes, and if you'll let me keep going, I'll learn from all that, and I'll dial it back a little bit. You know, because you can't tell the Lord you'll be perfect. I mean, you can't do that. But I believe the Lord wants me around a little while. Now, initially, I thought I'd be dead in a few hours. I said, well, they just ought to just bury me right now. That's just the kind of fellow I am. I got to work through stuff. But I really believe the Lord's going to do something, and I really believe that He's going to get the glory out of it. But I'm going to give Him glory whether I got 6 months or 60 years. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm glad it happened because it's already helped me. It's already helped me, and the Lord's using it to help some other people. The Lord's using it to get the attention of some other people. So we're gonna move forward, knowing the Lord's our shepherd. We know He's our shepherd. We know that He has to lead us in righteous paths for His name's sake. And we know that whatever the shepherd does, He does for the sheep. Brother Owens, you want me to pray and close, or you want to say anything? Or?
You done?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. We love you. Yeah, we do love you.